How long does it take you to go from the raw data through to an economic prediction following a simulation history matching workflow? Several months, maybe a year or more. It's not uncommon in a complex brownfield, but I'm going to show you today that you can achieve this in a matter of weeks. My name's Luke. Welcome back to the Cognitive Whiteboard with Trax International. Today we're going to walk through how you can shortcut this process dramatically by using a simulation sprint methodology. We're going to use an example here of a field where we had an incoming rig. The contract was signed. We were going to be drilling 6 new wells in this field in 6 months' time. And the corporation required that new drills were supported by an economic prediction from a simulation history match. The challenge was the last time we'd run through this process had taken a couple of years, and we were targeting an area of the field that had not been effectively modeled before because it was very difficult. A slump complex on the northwest corner of the field. We wanted to plumb 6 new producers in the area. There had been a couple of production wells in the slump complex. There had been a couple of injection wells, and really the story of connection between those was highly confusing. The previous model didn't explain that because there was essentially one detachment and then a chaotic mix of geology within that. And we had water injection wells bypassing others and leapfrogging to break through to production wells apparently a long distance apart. We had to address that problem. We had to figure out that plumbing in order to answer this question. But we weren't going to do that using a waterfall modeling methodology. So we adopted what we call the simulation sprint. Simulation sprint turns the process inversed. What we're going to do is, instead of thinking about a modeling perfection, we're going to think about a question. We are looking at a rig coming in 6 months. We have a mature brownfield. We have a finite number of possible locations where you can place the wells. So that makes it a bit easier. The question is not exactly the economics that you're going to get from any one of those wells. Instead, it's which are the best 6 wells you can drill. We start the process by setting ourselves an objective to go from beginning to end in a single day. That means from the raw data all the way through to an economic prediction, all achieved within 8 hours in the office. We do that by building a very simple tank model, setting ourselves up so that we can run a simulation, and from that simulation rank each of the different opportunities from best to worst. We come back in the next day and we look at the results. And obviously, they're pretty erroneous. We have a whole bunch of different errors. Some of them are structural challenges in the complex. Some of them obviously are production-based. We look at the worst parts, we set ourselves a new timeline, and we set a new project in place so that we can build that and execute, test, and iterate all within the next timeline of a couple of days. We ran through that process, usually giving ourselves more time in between each of the sprints, sometimes going back over it and testing again. But every time we run through, we achieve an economic result, and that allows us to have a rank from best to worst of each of the different well locations. What was dramatic, though, was that after only a matter of weeks, these start to stabilize. And after 4 weeks, they never changed again. No matter what we did, the order of which were the 6 best wells remained the same. So we might not have achieved a perfect history match according to this, which, let's be honest, still had a whole bunch of different back-end modifications in the simulation to achieve a history match. But what we had was the ability to recommend where 6 wells should be placed in a very short time frame, well ahead of our schedule. This is a way to use modeling to address questions as opposed to trying to do it for the science's sake. If you have a situation where you've got a crunch time coming up, you need to think about approaching it in a different way. If you want to learn how to do that, reach out to us at Trax International. We teach people how to follow a new methodology. Instead of that waterfall, how to use sprints to your advantage so that you can recognize that going in circles is a faster way to get somewhere than trying to go in a straight line. If you want to hear more about it, reach out to us at Trax. We'll happily teach you how to do this. But until then, I'll see you back here at the Cognitive Whiteboard next time.